See, I had planned to update
Abe.
this wave because
Hi,
Abe.
let's
Wave.
talk Wave with Abe.
I was gonna update that video for San Diego Wave with whatever happened this weekend, positive wise, but nothing much. Nothing much happened. Hi Abe, how are you?
Jane Campbell highlight video if you wanted to, but I don't think you had that many great things from the Wave on the Wave side. But it was a fun game. Great to get some NWSL action back. I was enjoying it. It was good to be back there, right? Chiba? I felt it's a different vibe.
Yeah, it was really cool. I was telling Tony that he wouldn't have been a fan of what the meal was at the press box.
Meal? I would have been a fan of any meal.
I think we need to start talking more about what the meals at the press box, because I think people in the chat really enjoy hearing that.
Mm-hmm.
This is the first time ever at Snapdragon Stadium, at least, that couldn't control your portions. It was a pre-packaged meal.
You talking shit?
I'm not talking shit. I thought that was interesting. The food was really good. It was a lot. Yeah, I didn't finish it. It was a lot, but it was really good. I liked it. It was good to be back for an NWSL, like Abe said. The lineup came out, and I think a lot of people were a little surprised that Mimi Van Santen was starting. Abe, were you surprised about that?
Yeah, I definitely was. From what we saw at Coachella, it seemed like maybe Kiki Pickett would be the one that would take that right back spot. Everyone else seemed like a pretty foregone conclusion in their positions, but yeah, Mimi Van Zanten coming straight out of college into that right back spot, filling the whole of Hannah Lundqvist was surprising to me, but she played pretty well for the half that she did appear in.
Your starting lineup for San Diego Wave here, down in the goalkeeper, Didi Haracic. Then you have Kristen McNabb, the classic San Diego Wave player at this point. Just vintage, comes with and as long-term as you can, all 5 years. Kennedy Wesley, co-captain there. Pearl Moroni, the French player, left back. Van Zanten, as you're saying. Laurina Facer in the midfield, along with Ken Zadali. Gia Corley, who was best player for San Diego Wave, I would say. And then Dudinha, Ludmila, and Portillo, the Brazilian front three.
I gotta disagree with Jack Corley being the best player of the game, in my opinion.
Okay.
I was a little disappointed. But let me tell you, man, I think if she would have played the whole game and not came out because of an injury at halftime, Mimi Van Zanten was probably the best player for Wave in the first half. I thought she looked so comfortable out there. It made me tell Abe, wow, the way she plays, San Diego Wave is not going to miss Hannah Lundqvist, because she was so comfortable. She was moving the ball up. She was cutting passes. She was making the tackles. Like, it almost seemed like, I mean, she's a natural right back, and she was killing it at that position. I don't know. What were your thoughts on Mimi, Abe?
Yeah, 100%. And to do it also, and like something that was kind of hyped up by the whole league of her playing with her sister, was kind of another storyline that I was following. She had like basically her whole family there wearing like that split jersey thing. So it's definitely a lot of pressure. And a player like that, young player like that, you expect, maybe they'll sub on late, but Jonas Eidevall had the confidence to say, hey, you're getting the start. And she played really, really well. Just like you said, making those connective passes and having that like connective tissue that you need when you're playing the Jonas ball and like moving the ball forward. And then also on defense, she was pretty good too, able to rush back and make a few stops, even though Houston really didn't have the ball very, very much in this game.
Yeah, no, this was a game where from the start, in all honesty, San Diego Wave dominated. They dominated the possession. They had the most shots. It was just, I think, just again, the first game of the season, and they were struggling in just getting the ball in the back of the net. But Houston had a great game defensively, and their goalkeeper had the game of a lifetime. I think 9 saves is what the stat line showed.
9 great saves. Abe, you had a point?
Yeah, I was just going to say, all it took was one moment, one disorganized moment by the defense for it to all kind of tumble down on them. And it's crazy how like small these margins are, I guess, in the NWSL, where like you can dominate, you can be super duper good. And it's kind of a little bit of the opposite of what SDFC did. They were able to like take advantage of being down so many players with like a few like moments on defense that you take advantage of them, and then Houston does the same thing. You're in the run of play. Mackenzie Robbie's taking advantage of Kennedy Wesley, who's just like the entire back line was kind of ill positioned on that goal, and it's really like the only mistake that they made. Like they're all just kind of like keeping everyone on side, and Kennedy Wesley was trying to like keep things more organized, and then it was just eventually led to the goal. And this is, I know a lot of people are upset about the corner kick. The Wave had, I think it was 14 corner kicks in this game.
I think it was a missed call. Like it should have been a corner kick. It wasn't called a corner kick, and that's how they got that pretty much like counterattack where Mackenzie Robbie just outruns Kennedy Wesley and gets this goal.
Yeah, I don't think it's a product necessarily like the missed opportunity of the corner, but it's the fact that the missed corner led to an opportunity for Houston when the added time had already expired. By the time the play happens, you know, if you're looking at it here, the play of that non-corner is already the 51st minute when 5 minutes are added, right? You know, and rightly so. You see Ludmila just in disbelief because she knows this should have been a corner, and it's just a marginal error, but nonetheless, it does cost a great slide tackle. Like that's a fantastic slide
it's
tackle.
A great
for
tackle
sure.
for sure. It should have been a corner.
But then directly after, you're now in minute 52,
like 20 seconds after, yeah.
And Houston just kind of just throws one up there, throws it up, and Mackenzie Roby out there, and she knows what she needs to do. It's just a slow roller past Didi Haracic, and 1-0. Who would have thought? Mackenzie celebrated too.
I think Abe and I were talking about it before. Like, you think she scores a revenge goal? Like, I'm like, I kind of hope so. Because I love seeing myself a revenge goal. It doesn't matter who's playing against who. Like, I love seeing players scoring against their former team just to see if they're going to celebrate or how they celebrate.
Mm-hmm.
I don't think her celebration caused for any disrespect or anything. She was just happy she got on the scoring line on her Houston debut.
There was a couple of Houston fans up in the stands too. It might have been Mackenzie Robbie's family or people that she's become friends with here in San Diego, because there was like a couple dudes out there with their shirts off going crazy when she scored. I don't know if you saw that too, Chiba.
Yeah, I mean, she kind of pointed at them after celebrating, and I think you're right. It's like friends that she's made. She was here for what? 3 seasons? 4 seasons? 5?
Yep,
no, this is the
4
fifth year.
seasons.
4 seasons. So yeah, and then they come out in the second half, and you know they keep their foot on the pedal. Like they keep pressing, they keep attacking. Jonas makes subs. He throws in Kimi Ascanio. He throws in Mel B later in the game. He throws in Leah Godfrey. Those were kind of like the first 2 people that we were all chatting about, like who should come on. And I'm like, oh, Kimi Ascanio should definitely come on. Leah Godfrey had a good Coachella Invitational. She should come on as well. And I think they helped out a lot. I like what I saw from Godfrey coming on. And I think what Craig said earlier, once the Brazilian players kind of start getting like the chemistry going, they're going to be fun to watch. But I also need to say, like, if Kimi Ascanio and Leah Godfrey continue to develop their game and play the way they play, they could end up taking one of the starting spots.
Yeah, definitely. I will say I had one problem with one of Jonas Eidevall's substitutions, in that he really highlighted Melanie Varsenas's play and what she brought in the like one-on-one sense at the end of the game. And I think he was right. It was a good move, but it was already like the 77th minute or 74th minute. Like, there's no reason why he couldn't have done that earlier, honestly. And for how well she played in this game wearing the number 7, she looked a lot better than I think we've seen her in the past. Like, it's one thing to like be doing the moments and getting the highlights and then not really finding the final pass. She was kind of able to find a couple more final passes and then also draw fouls too, which I think something that's maybe been a little bit lacking in her game. She won't kind of take that foul. She'll try and keep the ball for too long, but she got 2 yellow cards in this game, which is a big deal.
Yeah, no, I agree. I think Mel B technically, honestly, should have probably came a lot earlier. And I think if Jonas would have said something, oh, you know, she's still coming back from injury, she's still on like so many minutes, like she can't go more than so many minutes or whatever. That wasn't the case. Like he just threw her on. And I think that has to do a lot with last season. because she was injured and she didn't play as much. And he knows Kimi Ascanio, how she can play. He saw a lot from Leah Godfrey during Coachella where, he trusted her to come on and make the impact. But yeah, I think the way Mel B played, it could potentially get her more minutes in the future. And I think it's just a matter of time before she starts making an impact coming off the bench and potentially becoming a starter.
I mean, this play right here by Godfrey, right? She was the one that lays off the pass, and Ludmila just scrapes the bar again. Great positioning by Campbell again, who had a fantastic match. But this is the same old San Diego Wave. It is the first game, but if you start to see a pattern of this, is when it does become the same old San Diego Wave, and there's no real growth. And I think that was my question to Jonas Eidevall, like before this match in midweek meet availability of like, how have you grown? Has your style grown? How has your development as a coach kind of come in? And he said, like, very humble, like, yeah, no, there's things to learn all the time. And I've myself learned and just kind of the temperament on the touchline to this type of league. But he's looking for the next evolution, or as he would say, the evolution of San Diego Waves play. And right now, I can see where he's going with it with his new toys and new players out there. They can go ahead and maneuver, but Houston Dash just came in and they had what was it? How many games losing streak? Abe, do you happen to know off the top of your head?
For Houston, I'm not sure, but it
This is
definitely
the
wasn't
second time
great.
they beat Wave.
Yeah,
They
no.
played 9 games. Wave has won 5. Houston now won 2, and they tied twice already.
Let me check on that because
Are you talking about like their Houston's last however many games, or Houston versus
Yes.
San Diego?
no, just Houston's however many games without a win.
I can
Believe
look
it's
into that.
Oh, look at that! Last time that they won was 3-0 against San Diego Wave last year.
Wow.
Nope, excuse me, Chicago Stars, but still.
Chicago Stars were also the worst team in the league last year by a country mile.
Exactly.
They also beat Casey Current in October.
NWSL, man, that's crazy. They beat Kansas City. That's so dumb. Okay.
Yeah, that's a thing. That's canon, for sure. Let's hear from some of Jonas Eidevall and his post-match words to you guys out there, Abe and Shiva.
Jonas, your team dominated tonight, 70% possession, 9 shots on target, 14 corners. What was that message at halftime to the team, conceding the first goal right before it ended, and then just coming back in the second half and just keep dominating and taking those chances?
It was exactly like that. That it was really important to not sort of letting that define that the way we were going to attack the game. Of course, we don't want to concede a goal, but we can't think about the past too much when we're playing the game. We have to think about the future, the next action. So that was really the message. I think we were doing some things really well on the pitch, and I think we showcased a lot of variation when we had the ball. We created chances on numerous of ways. I think it was really nice to get to see both new players starting for us and with the energy and the quality they can have, but also players coming from the bench and being able to showcase that. That's really important for us. I think one part where we have to improve on, and again, it's quite natural with the little amount of time our defending players have spent with each other, is just how we work together as a unit in the back four. There is a couple of times there where we lose our organization, and it's just a few times in the game, but it becomes quite dangerous every single time we do that against Houston. And the reality is, in a league of small margins, we have to be very careful with those, and that's a really important one for us to improve.
Jonas Eidevall on his team's first performance, and I mean, it kind of, again, attention to detail, the details.
Catch the full press conference on SanDiego.Futbol on the YouTube page.
Absolutely. Abe, encouraging words from Jonas, or just kind of very matter of fact in terms of what actually transpired in that matchup?
I think it's a bit like more of the same as far as what we heard from last season, but I think he is right in the sense that like you can see the the start of something, and like relationships building and connections on the team growing, especially like I think on the front line. Like I think Ludmila, even though she's a really strong striker, you can tell that it's kind of in an individual sense right now. And then once she connects with the front line and what like Jonas is trying to do, it could look a lot stronger. And then what I think is most interesting too is like the Wave could be adding, are reportedly going to add another player from Brazil who played for the U.S. Women's National Team that is going to be like an even greater threat on the attack, and that's just going to like change things and change that dynamic so much in a really interesting way.
Who's that, Abe?
Oh, you mean
Comes a new challenger.
Katarina Macario, yeah.
Katarina Macario.
The former San Diego Surf, I guess you could say legend, Stanford University alum. I think way back now.
Stanford.
Yeah,
Interesante.
something that we hinted at. I was a little bit cautious still in how the whole saga went down with all the reports and leaks and different areas, and then the Champions League getting left off the roster. It all seemed a little bit confusing, but it seems like the agent knew what they were doing, and they got the bag, man. This is a huge contract for Katarina Macario.
It's been reported that it's $8 million guaranteed, and just absolutely moving past, just kind of anything that's been here locally or nationally. The next closest would be Trinity Rodman for $6, and what she's being paid.
But that's 3 seasons though, so technically AAV wise, Rodman would be making more. But I mean, $8 million is no joke in the women's game. That's huge.
So how much does the paradigm of San Diego Wave shift with a player like Katarina Macario, who some people may not be completely aware of it, some people may not completely know and be familiar with her game? Most recently, she combined along with one former San Diego Wave FC player, Jaden Shaw, in a beautiful goal that she scored here.
Guglielmo couldn't get there. Jonas will pick it up. Number 13 for Lily Johannes. Forward it goes towards Kat Macario. Macario goes to tip the keeper.
Dang.
That's coming here.
Is that at Miami Stadium? I think that was right. Yeah, that looked that.
Yeah.
But I mean, yeah, Katarina Macario has a really strong goal scoring opportunity. But the real question is though, since that game in December, what day was that? That was like early December, right?
Yeah, that was 3 months ago.
So her last Chelsea game was December 14th. She hasn't played a game since then. And it's not really clear whether it was because of an injury to her foot or her kind of not playing with club because Chelsea knew she was on the move, and they wanted to ensure that they could transfer her without her getting injured or something, which injury has definitely been a huge factor in her career in recent seasons, especially at Chelsea. I think I read something from an English reporter on The Athletic that said, like, yeah, Chelsea has not been at all what they expected from Katarina Macario. She's had like positive moments and glimpses of great games, but over the course of the couple seasons that they had her, she's definitely not like completely lived up to what they expected. So I think that's the main question mark with her, is like when she's playing well, she's like unreal, super dominant, connects with all the other players on the team. She was super good with Olympique Lyonnais, but if she's not healthy, that's gonna be a big question mark.
But does Chelsea keep anybody healthy? Yeah. Who was
Naomi
it?
Grimmo dealt with injury for a while. Yeah.
Yeah. They just lost another player that came back on in the first like 2 minutes of play, and Mia Official, also local product, it went through the ranks of Chelsea. Is this Cat signing equal to Potter signing Manny Machado? Actually, funny that you say that, because somebody who doesn't speak soccer, who speaks baseball, asked me, Adrian. He's like, hey, explain it to me in baseball terms. And what I told him was, well, if you really think about it, this is kind of like Manny Machado coming into the landscape that had a Eric Hosmer, that had a Will Myers, where they're good kind of level players, a good player. But now you have somebody with the money and the talent to back up why they're paying that money. But is that going to be enough to switch this whole organization to the positive, right? San Diego Wave is still trying to climb back up and still trying to find their way into redemption, into kind of coming back from that horrendous season that they had 2 seasons ago. But is this, face of the franchise for sure, but on a playing side of things, is this enough to start switching that narrative?
No, but it's enough to start getting more butts in the seats. And look, this was Abe a month ago.
Oh shit!
No.
Okay.
Yeah, Chula Vista.
Yeah.
Ugh.
Imperial Beach.
But sure, I don't claim Imperial Beach.
I do think I think it's a good chance that she could sign with the Wave, but I don't think the story's done yet at all. I think there's still bidding wars happening behind the scenes. I think there's more stuff that's going to be coming out.
I think the Wave play this first half of the season before the summer break is going to have it up, Chiba.
I think this play.
You're about to see. That's crazy. You cut the clip right before you're about to say that that she's not going to join until summer. Okay, she's joining like now, which is
I know. That's why I'm like, shut up, Chiba. You were wrong there.
Yeah,
we all thought it was going to be a summer move.
I think a lot of people said shut up about tonight.
It is crazy. Like they're paying $300,000. It's like I think what this does say about like ownership is like you're putting money where their mouth is, in the sense that you are paying $300,000 for her to join now. They could have waited. They could have paid the same contract and waited until the summer, but they said, we want this team to start winning now. She's a great player and she needs to connect with everyone else now and start building those connections and learning Jonas ball. That they're dishing out that money to Chelsea now, even with the potential injury concern to her foot that might exist, but also might not be that big of a deal. So that's honestly the biggest move by ownership since they've gotten the team. Obviously, it's like they're signing a huge contract, but yeah, since the Alex Morgan signing, really, he's like, you're bringing on a U.S. Women's National Team star who, when healthy, is without question in the starting 11 for Emma Hayes. Like she even has that connection with Emma Hayes. Like it's crazy.
This kind of makes up letting Girma go for the Millie, you know?
Sure. I mean, you have this money because at some point, in some residual way, right? You gave away Girma.
What do you think was the selling point? Obviously, the large amounts of money, but was it hey, come train where you used to train as a kid? And that she's like, yeah, I'm down for that. Like, old home.
It seemed like she was bound for the United States and was kind of over being part of English football. She joined Chelsea as part of like an Emma Hayes recruit, and when that first head coach is no longer there, it probably feels a little bit different. She feels like she's getting like treated differently as well. And then when you see other players like Lindsay Heap, sorry, I almost said the other one, making the move, like you kind of probably thinking to yourself, hey, if everyone's making the move, it's good for the U.S. Women's National Team to like help build back the NWSL and then have those connections. But this is massive for the Wave, though.
So we've all agreed that Alex Morgan signing is the number one sports signing in San Diego history. Then probably Manny Machado. Then probably Chucky Lozano. Is this more important, or does this cross Chucky Lozano signing? You're going to look up Instagram, aren't you?
How many
I think-
followers does Marcelo have?
I think we have to see how well she plays because it's she's a U.S. Women's National Team star without question. But if she's not playing at a high level or is dealing with injury concerns for at least 2 seasons here, it's gonna look a lot different. But I would say definitely smaller than Alex Morgan. Probably smaller than Chucky Lozano because with the national team, she's been good, but hasn't done it at the World Cup level, the Olympics level. I think she was part of that bronze medal winning team, but not a huge part of it. So it's
Yeah.
once like the world, like the international appeal hits Macario, which is definitely possible, then it becomes completely different. But like she won She Believes Cup with them, and like that's her biggest trophy, I think, there.
Well, if you have for about similar amount of money, Trinity Rodman, had she moved here, it would have been, oh my goodness, this, passing Chucky Lozano, I think. Or on par with Chucky Lozano?
Rodman would be bigger than Chucky Lozano, yeah. You know how much money Nike is probably paying Trinity Rodman? Is she a Nike athlete? I think Macario's Nike for sure.
I'm not gonna answer that question.
Oh,
Sorry, it's my fidget.
you're declining. Here.
I'm declining.
No comment. Okay.
No
Okay.
comment on that.
This is a good point for Brad too. Like if she was with the U.S. Women's National Team for the World Cup or the Olympics, I honestly think her missing that World Cup was a big deal. Do you remember that? Like that Alex Morgan might have not gotten called up if she was available. That's how big of an impact that Macario had at that time, especially.
No, it's going to be a big signing for SanDiego Wave for sure. And again, a testament to what they believe in. And again, putting their money where their mouth is for ownership. And it's a great step moving forward.
I hope Jeff's not wrong this time. Not like he's ever wrong.
Yeah, what would you say this time?
No, I think this kind of move got reported because the NWSL transfer window technically closes at midnight tonight. So maybe something changes. Maybe another NWSL team swoops in. You never know. But when the article comes out, it got first reported in Sportico, which Sportico is like the money one, the money outlet usually, where they have all the business of it all. So that sounds to me like they got some pretty good sources that knew what was going to happen.
Well, it seemed like it's going to happen for sure. Vlaco was building around her for the World Cup, and then she tore her ACL. Yeah, 100%. And then, ACL United here for SanDiego Wave at some point too.
That's a lot of soccer team.
Yeah, sure. But, I think they're putting a lot of eggs in that basket. And so far, so good. Like there hasn't been a player that I can point out like, no. Nuclear takes she's close to Joe Corona with Loyal. That's disrespectful. That's so disrespectful. For sure.
Joe Corona,
all right. All right. So
she's a huge signing without question.
SanDiego Wave now start and will be away against Utah before coming back against the Portland Thorns. Do we see Daniel Arias play when Luisa Agudelo goes in goal? Maybe. I could see that, just that connection and just a goalkeeper who doesn't speak the language.
Real quick with you, I'm curious, what did you think about Didi Hericic's game? Does she look like a starting goalkeeper that can play for the full season?
No. I don't think she got tested much, to be honest, and the few times she got tested, one went through. I think Sheridan has more field awareness than she does, and I think that's gonna play a factor in this, especially with the high up lines that Wave likes to play and that Jonas likes to play. Like Jonas like to push up those lines, like up to that midfield line, if not more, if they can, and that's where Sheridan would step up very high up into the pitch. And I don't think Didi has that. So I don't know, man. I don't know. I think it's the goalkeeper battle is wide open for Wave.
Yeah, I thought there was like one moment where I thought she maybe could have come out and she stayed in her box. That didn't look great, but then she made that like great save that with the shot that came at her right in front of her. That was definitely a tough save to make. But overall, Didi Haracic is an okay option, but still leaves a little bit to be desired, I'd say, in that starting goalkeeper front. And then if you watch Kaylin Sheridan for North Carolina this weekend, she had some really, really good saves.
She's still Kaylin Sheridan.
Yeah.
But all right. San Diego Wave will be back in action. Waving away. And we'll see. Not sure on an arrival time. Did you already drop your fidget? Jeez. For Mercario, or just a timeline. As soon as we get that, we'll let you know. And just kind of keep everybody in the loop. You wrote about Cat Mercario for Offer 11. Abe, that was awesome.
Yeah,
You've been all right.
I wrote a couple things this weekend. I had something on SanDiego.Futbol about the game, disorganized defense. I was proud of that.
Yeah, you came after them.
Just the alliteration, because it was just one moment. And I wouldn't have said it if Kennedy Wesley and Jonas Eidevall themselves didn't say it. So you can check out their quotes there if you're curious about that. And in the article, it's just a short little piece about that. And then, I wrote down top 10 moments from the NWSL match day, also on All for 11, and then a little thing on the Cat Mercario stuff. So they had me working this weekend, but it's been fun. Getting back into soccer is very interesting.
Well, the season's a full of go, and you're working hard for sure. Where's Nia Charles going?
I don't know.
There we go.
Sorry if that's a boring answer, but
it's all good. Anything else for Wave, guys?
They play their next game this weekend. They go on the road. I believe Wave, SDFC, and the Soccers are all going to be playing at the same time.
Yeah, they are
on Sunday.
That's going to be a soccerific Saturday, for sure.
Equinox. We got to come up with a name for that whenever they all play at the same time.
I'll work on it. I'll workshop it, for sure. All right, so. With that, this concludes San Diego Wave, and hopefully they give me some highlights so I can get rid of this one.